No matter what business you're in, you're going to need this key skill. And to do this particular activity, it's also something that I've made a lot of mistakes with: team building, growing your team, getting people to run alongside you, to join your business, join your mission, and help you to do more of what you're great at while you grow and scale the whole operation. You're the expert. You've started this business. You know exactly what you want. What you need is someone to help you do more of what you've currently done. When you're looking to grow and expand your team, you're hiring the next person that you need in the business that's going to save you some time so that you can buy back that time. You're not hiring for the next person that you think you should have in the business, or that Google or ChatGPT would tell you that you need next, which is a mistake that I made in the last 18 months. And it's taking quite some time to undo. And I just think there'll be some lessons in this for you. And I haven't even shared this with many members of my team. I've got a few job posts out as we speak. One of them, my recruiter, my headhunter, almost fell off his chair when he saw I wrote him a 6-page brief for one role. And I've got some things that I really think and hope will be massive takeaways for you as you continue to, or maybe start to, grow a team. Hey, welcome back to the Expansion Podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic when it comes to growing and scaling your business. No matter what business you're in, you're going to need this key skill. And to do this particular activity, it's also something that I've made a lot of mistakes with, but I've also had some really good wins and some good upside. And it's also something that's very much on my mind right now, and I'm thinking a lot about it. And that is team building. Growing your team, getting people to run alongside you, to join your business, join your mission, and help you to do more of what you're great at while you grow and scale the whole operation. Now, today, in this episode, we are going no notes. I've got nothing prepared or planned other than what is going to come out of my head. So I'm going to be just as surprised as you are as to what exactly we're going to be covering in today's episode. But I'm sure it's going to be good because I've made a few mental notes, and I've got some things that I really think and hope will be massive takeaways for you as you continue to, or maybe start to, grow a team. So I guess if I was to bring some kind of structure to this episode, I want to cover off 3 things. I want to share with you where I started with team building and where that worked really, really well. I want to share, number 2, some mistakes that I've made recently, and then where that's left us. And then I want to share with you, number 3, what I'm focused on right now and what the direction is for me and my businesses when it comes to team building. So let's go back to number 1. Where and how does it start? Interestingly, it actually starts at the same place that I still teach my clients to do today. And that is, if you're a one-man band, if you have a coaching business or a service or a course or a training of some kind, or you're a content creator and you've just started to monetize what you're doing, the entry point for starting to grow a team is you do not need to go straight for finding someone who is highly skilled and qualified in a certain area that's going to come with a massive pay packet as well, because what that's going to do is it's going to add unnecessary stress and difficulty for you when you're in the early stages. You know, think about it. If you've been waiting for years and years and years for this business to take off, and you've been working your day job at the same time, and you've just gotten to a point where now it's producing enough revenue that you can leave your job and you can do this full time, and then it's now started to produce the next level of revenue to where you think, gosh, I think I've got a little bit of a margin here to be able to start growing a team so that I can do more of this stuff. If you go and try to hire an A player immediately, someone who is, had 10 years, 15 years experience doing exactly what you're doing and can come in and try to help you get to that next level, firstly, it's going to be really challenging for you to find that person because, forgive me, I mean no disrespect, you're going to be inexperienced at this point with hiring and recruiting, and so you're probably not going to know where to go to find those types of people anyway. Even if you get in contact with them, you're not really going to know the right questions to ask. And so even if you end up getting one of those people in your business, you're probably going to find that you're not going to know how to manage them. You're not going to know what you're even wanting from them. And it could just become a bit more of a headache than you originally intended. But the second thing, and I think this is the more important danger, is that when you bring someone in like that as your first hire or one of your very early stage hires, the risk to reward is much higher. You got someone with a massive compensation packet, and all it takes is 1 month for you to not be performing very well, and you could find yourself in month two in a negative in your cash flow, and that's a position you don't want to be in. So what I recommend to my clients is for your first one or two hires, you're basically hiring a spare pair of hands. Okay, you're not hiring someone who's bringing a substantial amount of experience into your business, because quite frankly you don't need that yet. You're the expert. You've started this business. You know exactly what you want. And it's too early for you to want to bring someone in, or need to bring someone in who's going to steer it off in a different direction. If you bring someone in with loads of experience, they're not just going to come in and just do what you want done. They're going to come in and attempt to, steer us off in a different direction. And that could become a bit of a problem. You don't want that. You don't need that. What you need is someone to help you do more of what you've currently done. And so you're looking to essentially buy back some more of your time, and you want to replace the areas that you're currently spending time that you want to spend less time on, and you want another pair of hands. Did a little jazz hands there. Another pair of hands to come and help you with that stuff. And so for me in the marketing department, I've started by hiring marketing assistants, people that are interested in the topic of marketing, but not necessarily hugely experienced. And so they're willing to just come in and be a spare pair of marketing hands. And I can teach them the sales funnels we build and the ads that we launch, and teach them how to oversee those. And that's been a really great starting position for me. Admin, customer support, all of these things, you can bring people in to just come and, lighten the load, and people can just take very clear instructions and just do what it is that you're wanting them to do. And what ends up happening is you can actually start to home grow some of those A players. And that's happened for me. I've got a number of A players in my business right now that I'm really happy to be working alongside, that have great ideas, that have a huge work ethic, really get behind the mission, vision, and values of my business, and have been tremendous supports for me over the last few years. So you find that some of these people come in at that level, and then they learn on the job, and it's the long game, but you home grow some A players, and that feels really, really cool. Also expect though that the opposite will happen, and you will find some people that are just not fit for purpose, and not able to do the job, and sadly you have to have some difficult conversations, and maybe let some people go. So you're getting both ends, but ultimately in the start it's a spare pair of hands. Now that's how I started. That's how I recommend that my clients start as well, and I would still recommend that for you as you're listening to this. The second thing I want to cover off though, and we are going to skip a few years here, okay? So there's been a journey of hiring, recruitment, trying some roles and it works, and trying some roles and it doesn't. I want to fast forward a few years and take you to point number two, which is a mistake that I made in the last 18 months, and it's taking quite some time to undo. And I just think there'll be some lessons in this for you. And I haven't even shared this with many members of my team. Pete, who's off to the side here, won't even know what I'm about to say. I thought that there was a specific process that you go through when you're growing and scaling a business to the next level. To provide a bit of context, by the way, we were operating at the time around about 500,000 a month. So we're doing 5-6 million a year in the coaching business, and we're wanting to scale that to 1 million a month consistently. We had done the 1 million a month a handful of times, but it wasn't consistent. We wanted to do that consistently in the business, 10 to 12 million a year, so that we could grow and expand, so we can impact more people, do bigger events, all of the above. And I fell into the trap, and I didn't realize it was a trap at the time. I now realize that it is, falling into the trap of just hiring in the different positions within an organizational chart that just seemed like the next step, the thing that I'm supposed to have. So there's if you look at an org chart, there's a certain web of roles and management lines, and it's not a one size fits all, but I thought that it was. And so I started to add in the pieces that I thought we needed. And I'll focus on one of them. And I mean, no disrespect to the people that I hired into this position that it didn't work out with, but I went for a COO. So I went for a chief operating officer. And again, I did that because I thought that's what I needed. I was at a point in my business where I was wearing a lot of hats still. I could sense that we're not going to be able to grow and scale beyond where we are unless I have a really, really solid, experienced right hand who can take us to that next level. And so, with a bit of research, it was a COO that kept, popping up. And so I went on that journey and hired a couple of different COOs, tried it a couple of times. It didn't quite work out. When I look back, I realize, and this is the interesting thing, and I hope this is a lesson learned that I've had to go through the hard way, which, by the way, took about 18 months, and you can just save the journey. But I realized that I didn't need a COO. I didn't need that very specific title because if you have such a clear job description as a COO, and then you find someone who's done it before and they're very good at it, then the expectation from their point of view is to just come in and do what they're good at and crack on with it. And I'm watching these individuals in my business, and day upon day, I'm thinking, you're not working on the things I want you to be working on. I'm getting pushback on things I don't want pushback on, and things are taking longer than I want them to. But it's because you anyway. There was this whole thing, and it was things were taking a lot longer. Expectations were completely off, and I realized as I step back and look upon this situation, 40,000 foot view, I realized that I wasn't hiring what I needed, and my job description wasn't for exactly what I'm wanting and needing. My job description was all tailored around what a COO should be. So that's who I'm trying to hire because that's who I thought I needed. And then when they were in, I realized that's actually not what I needed. So it's changed the way that I look at and think about recruitment moving forward. And I'll give a quick shout out to a guy called Dan Martell. He's got a book called Buy Back Your Time. And it's a very, very interesting book. And if you haven't read it, I suggest that you do, or at least check out the summary. But I'll give you a whistle-stop tour right now. The idea in this book is that when you're looking to grow and expand your team, you're hiring the next person that you need in the business that's going to save you some time so that you can buy back that time. You're not hiring for the next person that you think you should have in the business or that Google or ChatGPT would tell you that you need next. Instead, it's looking at your time and seeing where are my biggest bottlenecks, where am I wasting time, and I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to craft a perfect description of a role that I need for to fill that gap. And I found the book really, really helpful. Just that big idea of not hiring who I think I should hire next, but who exactly do I actually need, and that's been really, really helpful for me. So shout out to Dan. Which has led me to the third thing I want to talk about, which is, where am I at now and how am I looking at this differently? Well, for those of you that are regular listeners now of the podcast, you'll know I've spoken about in previous episodes some big changes that I needed to make around here not too long ago. And one of them was I significantly reduced the size of my team. There were lots of reasons for needing to do it. It was absolutely the right decision. And the fruit since confirms that. But it was a really tough decision, and we did have to remove a lot of people from the business to kind of try to tidy up some of the mess that I had got myself into. It's fully my responsibility, and now I'm looking at recruitment very differently. When I'm bringing people back into the business, we're at a starting point of a very lean, very efficient business full of people that I actually enjoy spending time with. It's a great team, and I'm going to be very protective as to who comes in, and I want to make sure that I'm hiring into the right positions, the right type of person. Oh, because there's one more thing I'll say actually on point number 2, because this is interesting. I was, again, I mean no disrespect if anyone's listening to this. There was a level of settling for the best candidate that we had during an interview process. So imagine we've been going for 3 months now, trying to find a certain person for a certain role. And so 3 months has gone by. We've spoken to 40 different candidates. And so we were going with the best person. That was another mistake that I made, actually, that I wish I didn't. And I won't be making that again, because I don't want to settle for just who is the best of the bunch. I really want to make sure that this description of a role that's buying back some of my time or buying back time from a member of my team who I'm now going to place someone below them, when we're looking at that buyback process, I want to make sure that I'm finding the person who will really specifically and clearly fit the description of what we're looking for, and I won't settle anymore. And that's something else that I did. So back to where we are right now. I'm looking at recruitment in a few ways. Number one, what exactly do I need right now? I'm not going to be swayed by what a Google org chart would tell me that I need next. It's who do I specifically need next, and that is actually aiding my recruitment right now. I've got a few job posts out as we speak. One of them, my recruiter, my headhunter, almost fell off his chair when he saw I wrote him a 6-page brief for one role, not just a short bullet list of who I'm looking for. Literally 6 pages in a small font of exactly who I want. And then couple that with the fact that I will not settle. I must find this person, and if I don't, I will just keep going until I find them. So that's the first thing, and that's really helping me. And I'm actually enjoying the interview process a lot more now. Second thing though is, given the time that we live in with AI and the way that that's evolving and how fast it's evolving, I'm also questioning: do we need a full-time employee for this particular role? So, for example, I'm going to talk about Pete, who's just off the site here. We're doing so much content. We're doing the podcast. We're doing our other YouTube channel. We're doing short form. We're doing our funnel videos. With so much stuff that we're doing, that we need more editing resource. And so when we're talking about this, we're going, right, let's be sensible here and decide: do we need someone on staff full time with us, or can this be something that could start part time with someone outsourced? Could this be in South Africa? Could this be in the Philippines? Could it be someone part time here in the UK? Could it be a contractor? Could it be a subby? Does it have to be on payroll? We're starting to ask all these questions now to just make sure that we don't start bringing people on team prematurely because we think we should. Instead, let's be sensible, and let's be strategic with our approach, because I'm actually quite enjoying having a smaller, leaner team. I feel like we're doing great work. We're having fun while we do it, and I'm going to be very careful how many and how quick we add to that. So there we go. Anyway, some lessons on team building. How it starts, some mistakes I've made, and lessons learned along the way, and then how I'm approaching things now. I really hope that this has given you at least some ideas, some food for thought, and maybe some of you are listening to this thinking, John, this came at just the perfect time, and for that I'm pleased, and I hope to see you on another episode.